update. So yesterday I made a video about there was reports of a suspect following women at a park, and you know the police had a suspect in mind, and they questioned him, and I believe they ended up arresting him. Is later in the evening it was reported that he was arrested. They had a suspect. And apparently, it was two different incidences. Another woman had been followed back in January at the same park. So, again, it's one of those things where there's people out there in the world that are sick, but I stand true to what I said. I try not to take everything. I look at it as collecting evidence to make a solid judgment on a story or a situation. I never want to full-heartedly believe every single story without doing the research and collecting the evidence. But these things you take seriously. You want to take these things seriously and start investigating and making sure your communities are safe. But as a good Samaritan in the past, I've had people tell me, "Oh, it's none of your business, and you should mind your own business." And it's like people don't want you worrying about what's going on in their side of town or whatever. But the way I look at it, honestly, is if it's happening in public, everyone has a right to know about it. It is everybody's business, right? And you have a right to know what your community is up to within reason. Within reason, because you'll end up going. Some people push the boundaries and they want to know everything, and then they start harassing people, and then they end up becoming that harasser that's following people. You know what I mean? And that's how things can get out of control. And then you have to think about like the Karens that have reported people, like the famous Karen that reported that black guy in the park who was like bird watching, right? And she reported him because he was intimidating looking, and he was just watching birds. All the different stories, But like I said, the best thing that I try and do is I usually try and mind my own business. I don't harass people, right? If I'm in the park, I'm there. If someone asks me for help, that's a different story. I'm always willing to help someone. But glad the police, KPD, got this guy, and they're going to do their job, and it should be innocent until proven guilty, right? But they got him. They're going to question him. He'll go to court. He'll have his day in court. And best thing I try and do is for myself is to stay safe and plan accordingly, plan my trips accordingly. I let people know where I'm going, how long I'm going to be gone. I pack accordingly, water, self-defense, and I try not to push my limits, right? Try to stay aware of my surrounding. She did the right thing. It looked like she, if you're spooked or scared, taking pictures, documenting it, calling for help. I think she called for help, and there was another couple that ended up scaring the guy off or whatever, It's scary stuff, though. Stay safe.